primary ignition.
Welcome to Unlimited Power. My name is D-Rod, and I'm so excited to share with you the final match from the Jump to Lightspeed Planetary Qualifier event that took place in North Seattle, Washington at Zulu's Games on May 24th, 2025. But before we watch that video, I want to say thank you to Zulu's Games for inviting us up there to stream. They put on a great event for over 120 players, amazing staff with a great group of judges. We had a great time talking to everyone, watching the games, looking at the meta breakdown. It was awesome. So shout out to them, and hopefully they invite us for the next one. The second thing I want to point out is this video is actually accompanied by two others. You'll find links to them in the description down below. The first one is going to be the full video on demand stream, where you can catch all 12 hours of the stream filled with amazing commentary from different people within the Northwest community, including a Planetary Qualifier winner. Then you also get to see these two finalists in the feature match, in the feature tables throughout the day. So if you like what you see in this final match and want to see how they did against different archetypes, feel free to go through that stream. The second video that's accompanied with this one is going to be the champion interview, where we asked the champion how it felt to build this deck, what were some of their thoughts going into this event and throughout the event, and what is some of their advice for players looking to step up their competitive levels. With that said, thanks again for watching this video. Thanks for watching this stream. If you like us covering this type of events, please let us know with the comments, a like, or subscribe. Anything that tells us that we should continue working with these stores and filming these types of things. So thanks so much. Enjoy the video, and may the Force be with you.
And welcome back to the final round at the Seattle Planetary Qualifier here at Zulu's Games. Again, it's really exciting to be here. Really appreciate everyone coming in, joining the stream, as well as our commentators, Joe, Misha, Rob. I really appreciate you guys coming in. For those new to the channel or just watching the finals match, my name is D-Rod, and I'm joined by Rob here at Unlimited Power, and we're just excited to see the end of a long, great day. And yeah, I think this is going to be an exciting matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a lot of great Star Wars played at this feature match table throughout the day. Culminating in two very strong and capable players and a very interesting matchup.
Now, already starting, I'm definitely, I love both of these leaders. Both players have done well, obviously very successful. We've seen this Han player throughout the day on a lot of this stream. And it's hard for me to pick who I really want to win. I want to play this Palp deck, but I play a lot of this Han Green deck. And here we go, we're getting started. But Rob, any out of the decks, which one has piqued your interest the most, or are you most excited to see take this thing?
I think like Han is the known entity, and I've played a fair amount of Han myself in this new format, so it's cool to see a relative newcomer like Palp Yellow reach the final. Again, we talked about Palp Yellow at the very beginning of the day, has had some success in Europe, and now bringing it over to the States. Yeah, I'm open for good games. You know, both players don't have solid hands, reasonable mulligans. This Pog the Lesser is threatening to draw lots of cards for Palpatine, by the way. It's worth mentioning. It takes a minute for Han to get into the ground arena and contest that ground arena.
Ooh, and look at the engine is going. We have Pog the Lesser out turn 1, Bazine on turn 2, letting you get that droid out there so you can sack it, get your draw engine going, and immediately we're going to get rid of the stolen hauler. Now, since it was discarded from hand, it can't be played for its 0 cost, because that's a win-defeated ability. But Han does have some other answers of bringing that back, either right now with the salvage or later with the home 1.
Correct, yeah. Both the home 1 and salvage might be post-board, but it is definitely something to keep in mind as we develop in this board. It's going to be a resupply from Han.
And look at the action. Like, obviously, these are experienced players, have been here all day. They are moving fast, and they know what they want to do. Doesn't feel like there's any type of tunnel vision here. They're making great decisions very quickly. As we see resupply, we see Salacious Crumb come into play. I think this is going to be a great matchup. And, I'm definitely a little biased, but I'd love it to be a quick matchup just because it's been a long day.
Yeah, it's been a long day. The players are definitely feeling it too, more than us. Super laser tech.
Yeah, it's usually the problem with qualifiers is you're pretty much doing what you would do at larger events like regionals or sectors, what would take you 2 days. This is really, you're jamming it all into one.
Yeah, it's a tall order. It's a lot of thinking. It's a lot of effort. When you do it back to back, you don't really feel the fatigue wholly set in. But once you're done, it all tends to just hit you all at once.
Yeah, and I know everyone here on the streaming crew, we all have quite a drive back closer to the Portland area, so we'll definitely be feeling it, I'm sure, as soon as this cast ends and the whole ride home. But look at the Palpatine, such a great board setup. The engine is going. They're defeating their own units to draw cards. We saw them defeat that super laser tech, allowing them to not only draw a card, but get a resource. Great value there. And no damage yet done to the Han player, but I think Palpatine's getting really set up here.
Yeah, generating en masse, lots of battle droids, lots of cards in hand, finding all the answers they need.
All right, look at that. They got the Kira out there, Salacious Crumb, Frozen in Carbonite, Dark Trooper, and the Overwhelming Barrage.
Yeah, pretty easy overwhelming barrage name here, I think.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to see.
Yeah. Carbonite, kind of a blank and a small Falcon. It's kind of a foregone conclusion. You're just not really going to be super active into the ground arena, so the Sentinel doesn't bother you that much.
Getting that damage on that Kira. Out comes the Han. And it looks like the player's named Crumb.
Okay, interesting. It was the only remaining play for the turn that Palpatine had. So taking a more tempo angle. The other thing, too, is that, right now, as it stands, Palpatine just doesn't have a good OB target. So that's relevant right now as well.
Yeah. Now, I'm actually surprised the Han player went for the damage on the board. I guess, really, it is more of a rush game for them. But I have just a feeling that Pog the Lesser is still just going to be such a problem for them if they just let it sit there. I know it has 4 health, but, I mean, the amount of draw they're going to keep getting may be what ends them.
Yeah, I think you can expect to see Han continue to control Palp's board where they can without sacrificing too much damage. I think it's kind of just one of the base rules playing against a Palpatine deck is you don't want them to draw cards for free. You want to keep their board clear as much as you can, so that way you don't lose the card advantage race.
Again, 3 more damage there to the Palpatine player.
Han already halfway there. Lose a race. Palp's going to get to 7 resources, then get to 8.
Mm-hmm.
The following turn. And threaten to flip. Until Palp flips, you're probably not going to see a pilot played to one of these units.
Look at all the damage the Han player got. And I don't even think the Han player had a strong start. But they definitely built up very well.
I think the resupply was very good. I think having the resupply and being able to accelerate Han Leader into play underneath the Sentinel in hand has really helped.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I did forget about that resupply. That's why it felt like it was a little light after that turn. But yeah, I mean, here we go. Han doing Han things. Millennium Falcons hitting the board. A lot of damage on that space arena. Can Palp stabilize? Both bases have 30. We talked about this while they were setting up. So we have no special bases, no data vault. This is just 30 health, which I love. I love seeing that in the top 8.
Yeah, I mean, data vault was the talk of the town today, and yeah, here we are with the 30s.
Right, 3 extra life. I guess didn't get someone to the finals. A lot of people to the finals.
We're still seeing base green. I mean, green is representing in the final for both players.
Well, there's a color that I think is the most difficult color to not choose. It's usually green.
Yeah.
All right, we see the Palp flip, which means that as a deploy action, it gets to take a damaged non-leader unit from the opponent, and it chooses the Falcon.
Yeah, I've got to keep in mind that OB is still in hand, and now with the Palp flip, there is a more potent OB target on the field.
Yeah, Palpatine is a 410. 410, so we can make it a 612 after the overwhelming barrage is played.
And this is a tap for 5. Oh, yep.
No damage on the Han base yet.
No, we're starting to turn the corner. If Palpatine can survive again at 26, so will be tricky. Has 6 damage to deal.
All right, Kira leaves the board. Phoenix A-Wing leaves the board, leaving Han and his trusty ship.
Palpatine does have a board clear here. Palpatine can attack into Han, defeating Han, and on the on attack trigger, sacrifice a battle droid to deal 1 to the big Falcon, and then the little Falcon can trade that they stole. So they do have a board clear here.
I love that we have to do Falcon math a lot during
Yeah.
this event.
Yeah, they printed, 3 Millennium Falcons in this game, and they all see play.
Yep. Yeah. And again, this is what I was saying earlier, how much I love that they do work well with the leader, Han Solo. Again, appreciate Fantasy Flight for making things feel thematic, feel good, work well together. Because this is the type of synergy you want in games. People get excited to play the things they see in shows, movies, and books. And Fantasy Flight is giving it to us, and the synergy is just so good. We saw that so early with cards like Boba and Han, and it just continued through every set. Really excited for Legends of the Force because of that. And there's that Falcon math you were saying, as we see the Falcon swing into the Lando's Falcon. And we still have Palpatine's on-attack ability.
Yeah, do we have a way to clear both the Han and the tech now with the resources remaining? Yep, Palpatine goes into Han. Yep. Sacking a battle droid. Oh, interesting. Did the base.
Interesting. Well, they got the damage on the Han's base. Han leader is removed.
2. Okay, heal 1, and then with the crumb is going to heal another 2. So that puts it out of range. Yeah, it does put Palpatine out of range of the surprise strike lethal that the tech is threatening. So Palp is going to end this turn at 23, which, I'm going to say is the healthiest 23 I think you've ever seen in the game at this point. 1 damage on tech. Right now, Palpatine threatening to defeat tech with the first action that Palpatine has available. Han with the initiative going into this turn.
Now, we've seen this before from the Han player where they get all the damage up front, looks great, and then it's all about just mostly like, can they keep a unit on board, and are they going to have any type of surprise damage?
Yeah.
And every time I think, I don't know if Han can do it. I think they run out of steam, and they don't. And even now, I'm still wondering, are they going to get it? Can they get there? And we'll see. I think if I was the Han player, I'd be worried about seeing Reinforcement Walker at this point. Palpatine player drawing too many cards for more Change of Hearts. But I mean, they're so close.
Yeah, it does feel so close. Also, too, Palp has access to this I gain 2 health a turn loop with the Crumb being bounced back to hand replayed and then double trigger with the Yularen and the Crumb. So the time that Han has, the window that Han has, is rapidly closing.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be Palp into the tech, defeating the tech, eating a battle droid.
That's what you want to see. U-Wing reinforcements come into play. They're going to look at the top 7 cards of the deck. And they're going to play cards that equal the cost of 7, but they can only play up to 3 cards. So what do you think? You think we're going to go wide here? We're just going to try to put a...
I think you have to go wide. Yeah,
I'd agree. Now, do you go wide with 3 units, or do you hope for something like maybe a Kira and a Falcon?
I think it's really hard to find a 3 card combo. I think it's like exactly L3 Phoenix Squadron A-Wing and a 3-drop, which would be good. But hard to find out that whole combo. It will be a Spark Falcon is 1.
Great pick there.
Pose the next best option here. I think there's just so many resources. As I said, I feel it's going to be a hauler.
I'm going to go with the hauler. So 2 3-cost space units hitting for 4 and 3. That's a great threat. I wouldn't be surprised if Palp has the answers.
Palp still has all of the resources available. Lots of cards in hand. And one of them is a Maul.
And Barrage. Oh, no.
It's a Barrage for 6. Due to the hauler, will defeat the Falcon.
Yeah, they have the damage to defeat the hauler when they... Oh, no. I'm just going for the base. Okay.
Yeah, Hunnison's claimed. And here's the loop I was talking about earlier. It's going to gain 2. Again, back to this healthiest 23 you've ever seen. Play a fresh Poggle.
I think the healthiest 23 I've ever seen is Michael Jordan playing with the flu.
Yeah.
Give Palpatine some Gatorade and he's all set.
Yeah. Is it in you? And we will draw back up. Palp at 22 now.
So not even Surprise Strike's going to get you there.
No. Yeah, a very key 22.
I love how quiet this building is now.
Right, yeah. We can actually hear the final players talking to each other now. It's actually quite nice. Han Pilot on hauler to 28.
There they go. They have to deal with the hauler.
We'll have to gain more than 2 health here now. Again, the bare minimum is to go back to 23. Ideally, you have an answer for this hauler.
I'd be surprised if the Palpatine player doesn't, but that's the point of a card game. You don't. It's your odds of having the right card at the right time. It's not as high as you think they are.
Yeah, 6 health remaining on the hauler.
And U-Wing, okay, more units, preferably a Spark of Rebellion Falcon.
Yeah, do we have another one in the deck? I think there are at least 2 in the yard.
I think there are 2.
So here could be Spark, Falcon, and Poe, and then Poe attaches to the untapped Falcon and makes the X-Wing. That represents 5.
So some decisions being made here by the Han player. There it is. Okay, Falcon and 2 Phoenix Squadron A-Wing.
Yeah, we found all 3 units. One of the combos. Palpatine's already spent 2 overwhelming barrages this game. Heal another 1, 26.
That healing with those Dark Troopers.
4 resources remaining. One of the cards in hand is a P-38 Starfighter. 3 to base to 29.
Now they're not timed, so...
Yeah, Palpiello indicating that they have 1 out to draw. They will claim and see if they hit it. And there's the scoop, and that's game 1.
Game 2.
So close.
4 damage on the Han player's base.
The healthiest 23 was not good enough, as it happens.
Exciting. Again, this is a great matchup. Both players definitely went through a gauntlet of decks today. Such a wide variety. And again, how many Palpatines were here today? Was it only 2?
Palp Yellow. I think it might have been 2. 2 Palp Yellows, and then also a Palp Nabat Village, so 3 in total, broadly speaking. And there was additionally a Palp Data Vault and a Palp Colossus. that didn't make it to the end.
I remember when we were watching that Palp Nabat Village, that was super fun. And, I think that's what makes Palpatine so great is he does have just so much flexibility with these other colors. Blue, green, yellow. You can still argue there's definitely some fun to have with red. But just a solid game, set one leader.
Yeah, absolutely. Just exists on the opposite end of the spectrum. Who knew a leader that deployed on 8 would be playable? But with like such a powerful ability like Palpatine, it makes that plausible, right?
Super powerful. Again, I believe Joey mentioned it earlier. Just the mind games that Palpatine puts on you, knowing that one damage can just turn the game in their favor, and you have to be very careful on what you want damaged. And there's so many times when I've been on the other side where I'm sitting there with a Relentless or a Devastator, something big, and Palpatine just has that card in hand or something on board to ping me, and it's just like, what's the point? Like, why play this?
Yeah, it really is. Like the threat of the flip itself just pins cards to your hand, right?
And that's the strength of this game. When you pick a leader and they just have so much weight to turning the game once they deploy. And I think that's great. It feels like you're getting value of who you play. The worst thing that can happen to you in a game is you get defeated before you get to the leader flip.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, as long as you can flip your leader, you're doing something successful. You are getting the feel of your deck, and at least you can say, I got to do this thing. And we see that with cards as low as Sabine, who get to swing with stuff like Darksaber, to stuff as high as Emperor Palpatine, who can just steal capital ships, no problem.
Mm-hmm. And it's flavorful too, right? And that definitely helps. Right, Palpatine, considering their first look at their hand for game 2, I think Han is still considering their sideboard options. The finals is on time, so, more power to you. A lot on the line here. Han up a game.
I'm getting excited as we see a variety of new bases that really change the way the game works. And I would love to see, obviously we see leaders who have the ability to ramp, but I'd love to see maybe a base that does the same thing and start the game with like one more resource in play. I'm sure it'd be low health, probably 25 or lower, but here's just me thinking and fantasizing about what I would love to see in this game. But when we see cards like Young Han and Old Han with how it changes up, putting in that turn 2 unit the first turn just completely changes the dynamic of the game, really puts that board presence there and becomes really threatening. I just kind of wonder if eventually we'll see something like that.
It's a possibility. Although right now, if you want that effect, you can just play Han, right?
Yeah.
And with no penalty.
Well,
really.
A little, but not.
Yeah.
You're still losing a card out of your hand a little early, and that definitely feels bad when they're playing more hand disruption.
Sure. Speaking of hand disruption, Bazine moved to the front of the line on the Palp side of things.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Mako 109 says I should stop recommending new bases. I just want to see how fast we can make this game.
Right, yeah. If it's not vintage Magic, are we even trying?
All right. You see the Bazine. We're going to get rid of the Falcon, which is the play. So that's damage the Palpatine player is not going to take this turn. And I may have missed it, but it really felt like the Han player refilled their hand while all the cards were still on the table.
They quickly just moved the 2-drop into play.
Okay.
I think these players have played against each other before. I think we're shortcutting a little bit here.
That's true.
More important, the Han player kept a hand in such a way that they didn't get pantsed by the Bazine, taking away their only eligible play for the first turn. And exchanging attack actions here, 1-3.
Yeah, Bazine with the first blood there. Resupply from Palpatine.
On racer, I think this would be a Poe angle. Oh. about it. Up to 4.
Yep, there it is, the Poe. So we get the X-Wing token. You can decide if they want to pilot, but they're going to continue to keep 3 units on the board.
Yeah, typical rule of thumb with Poe is you go wide with Poe into the control decks, force them to spend more cards to deal with more of your cards.
That is the best thing to do, is have them just lose cards out of their hand, even if it means sacrificing, a token?
Mm-hmm. Also, Poe does threaten to kill Bazine before. Yeah, we're going to immediately see Palp sack to draw here and put a damage on a unit. And it forces the issue there.
All right, Han player ahead still. Game 1 is a win. 6 damage on the board. Now it goes down to 5. Now that Colonel Yularen is out.
I think you're just killing this on sight, right? If you're
Yeah.
on.
After that last match, it feels like you should.
Yeah, it's a strong consideration. Kind of just depends on the hand and how quickly you think you can get to 30 here. It's a resource down. No going to be dead on the Poe.
Keeping that Yularen alive. Oh, but there it is. Blue leader comes in with the counters. Such a strong card. I know we've talked about that a lot today.
Yeah, Blue Leader, one of the best additions from Jump to Lightspeed for sure. I think has transformed like the power level and the amount of play for a lot of these green-white decks. Kind of another reason why I think we've seen such a resurgence in Data Vault. In part is because they have access to Blue Leader that can play into both arenas. And a number of strategies just want this card because it's just good at multiple phases of the game.
Yeah, if Command continues down this this trend of having such strong recursion, I think we're going to see cards like Blue Leader continue to be one of the most dominating uncommons.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. This game does like to print a powerful uncommon.
P31 comes out, deals damage to the Phoenix Squadron. Team player doing what they can here. Still have a couple of options. 3 resources remaining. But they're going to continue to take more damage. There's 5 more on the board.
This Royal Guard right now does not have an official. So it's just a 3/5.
14 damage on the Palpatine's base, and Han goes ahead and does the resource deploys as the Palpatine player takes the initiative.
Han does have the option to get to 7 here instead of opting for the blaster to base. Another 6.
Ooh.
And just checking, I think, to see whether or not this card has Sentinel. It does not. To base. 4 resources remaining for Han.
Do they have a Falcon?
Let's attack. Pretty good.
Pretty great. Wow, look at that board state.
Yep.
Okay, we're at 8, so we can flip Palpatine if we really want that Blue Leader.
It's a good philosophy against Palpatine. Think about if you're on camera, build a board as wide that it goes off the screen, and you're having a successful game against Palpatine.
Well, if the viewers can't see the units, then the Palpatine player can't see them.
Right, yeah. Immediate tap out to Maul to defeat the Han. I think there's just lethal on board, right?
I think so.
Han is starting to flip to turn on the Sentinel, so I think we will get to play a little bit more. Let's see what's happening in the row from Tech.
Well, unless I'm wrong, the Palpatine player is only at 7.
Yeah, their pack is extremely against the wall. Are they only at 7? I thought they might have been up to 8.
I thought they were.
They're on
I thought
7.
they were 8
Yeah,
too,
this
but
is
this is 7. So I think
this is kind of a foregone conclusion at this point.
Even though this finals match is going a little bit quicker than we expected.
Yeah.
Again, both players played so well all day.
Strike from the row to 28. 3 lethal threats. 1 action to deal. All right, sending a message.
Oh,
That's
there
it.
it is.
Well done.
There it is. Great job. Well, with that, you can hear the ovation in the background there. Again, both players played super well. I loved just watching these games all day. A long day, but man, it was fun. Felt like it flew by. And I really appreciate everyone sticking around, watching the stream, or catching this final match here at the Seattle Planetary Qualifier at Zulu's Games. Great place, great judge crew, great staff, great streaming partners here, commentators. Everyone was just having a good time, honestly.
Yeah, it was a long day. It was a good day. And thanks to D-Rod for having me and putting the stream together for everyone to watch online. If you guys are in the audience and you like what you saw, hey, maybe give this channel a follow.
There you go.
Something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, appreciate that. A little plug there. Make sure you like or subscribe the video. That's always helpful. Again, appreciate everyone taking the time to watch this. A lot of great coverage happening today, but we are always proud to highlight what we're doing in the Northwest. And it's a fun time. If there's an area you want to visit that has so many Star Wars events, I always recommend checking out Portland or Seattle, as you can find events almost every day of the week up here. And when it comes to like tournament season, like store championships, qualifiers next season, there's definitely a lot going on and a lot of great competition. So again, thanks for joining this 127 player
127, a sellout
event. People waiting at the door to see if they can still get in if people didn't show up. Great showing. But yeah, thanks again. Everyone have a great holiday weekend, and may the Force be with you.